There's a moment that happens at the feeder. You're standing at the window, or maybe outside near the garden, and a bird lands just inches away. A chickadee, cardinal, a nuthatch. Suddenly, it stops what it's doing. It turns its head, not a scan of the yard, not a general sweep for threats, and it looks directly at your face. It holds that gaze for 2, maybe 3 seconds, and then calmly goes back to the seed. In that moment, something in you wonders, what did it actually see? Not just whether it recognized you or likes you, but what you actually looked like through those eyes. What kind of thing are you to a creature like that? The answer is one of the most extraordinary things in biology, and I promise you it looks nothing like the person you see in the mirror. Welcome back to Feathrix. Subscribe now, because what you're about to learn will change the way you stand at your feeder forever. Understanding this isn't just about trivia. It's about the silent, invisible relationship happening in your backyard every single morning. Today, we're going into the secret biology of bird vision, the slow-motion world they live in, and the specific conclusions the bird at your feeder has made about you. Start here, because this is where the world splits in two. You and the bird at your feeder are standing in the same yard, looking at the same morning sun, but you are not seeing the same world, not even close. Human eyes are trichromatic. We have 3 types of cone cells, the cells that detect color: red, green, and blue. Every sunset, every painting, every forest you've ever seen is just a combination of those 3 signals. It's a rich world, but it has a hard limit we rarely think about because we've never seen anything beyond it.
Birds, however, are tetrachromatic. They have a 4th type of cone cell that detects ultraviolet light, wavelengths that are completely 100% invisible to us. When a bird looks at your yard, they aren't just seeing brighter colors. They are seeing a dimension of color we literally have no frame of reference for. Think about this for a second. To us, a dandelion is a solid, uniform yellow. But to a bird, that dandelion has vivid ultraviolet landing guides on its petals, like a neon sign pointing toward the nectar. To us, a male and female blue grosbeak might look somewhat similar in certain lights, but to them, their feathers glow with ultraviolet patterns that broadcast their health, their age, and their identity. Now, apply that to yourself. When a bird looks at you, they see you in ultraviolet too. Your skin reflects ultraviolet light. Your clothing, especially if it's been washed in modern detergents that use optical brighteners, likely glows like a beacon to a bird. Your hair, your eyes, the very texture of your skin has an ultraviolet signature. You are a glowing, multi-dimensional entity that looks nothing like the flat version of yourself you see in a photograph. You are a version of you that no human has ever encountered. But if you think their world is colorful, wait until you see what happens when you try to move. Birds don't just see differently, they process reality faster. In biology, we call this the flicker fusion rate. Think of it like the frame rate of a movie. A human eye processes roughly 60 frames per second. That's why a light bulb looks like a steady glow to us, even though it's technically flickering. But for many birds, that rate is significantly higher, sometimes over 100 frames per second.
This means that to a bird, you are moving in slow motion. When you reach out to refill the feeder, what feels like a smooth, quick motion to you looks to the bird like a long, drawn-out sequence of events. They see the slight hesitation in your fingers. They see the micro-adjustment in your weight as you shift your feet. They see the tiny muscle twitches in your face. This is why birds are so impossibly fast at dodging threats. They aren't just twitchy. They are literally seeing the world at a higher resolution than you are. Every movement you make near your feeder is a high-definition report on your intent. If you move with confidence and purpose, they see it. If you move with the sudden, unpredictable jerkiness of a predator, they see that too, long before you even realize you've moved. Before you've even stepped off your porch, the bird has already read the sentence of your body language. So, if they see you as a glowing, slow-motion giant, how do they classify you? Initially, the data is not in our favor. We are large. We have forward-facing eyes, the classic calling card of a predator. We make loud, sudden sounds. Most animals in the wild move in oblique ways, avoiding direct eye contact and direct approach. Humans, however, tend to walk straight toward things we're interested in. To a bird, everything about your basic profile screams apex predator. But birds are masters of risk assessment. Through a process called habituation, a bird can move a specific object from the threat category to the background category. But with backyard birds, something much more sophisticated happens. Research suggests that birds who interact regularly with a calm, food-providing human eventually create a brand new mental category. It's not predator, it's not prey, and it's not competitor. It's something scientists don't have a perfect word for, but let's call it a trusted known entity.
Think about that. That cardinal sitting on your feeder while you stand 3 feet away hasn't just gotten used to the noise. It has actively reconstructed its understanding of the world to include a category for you. It has overridden millions of years of evolutionary instinct that says run from the giant because it has analyzed your specific behavior and found it consistent. However, not all birds are running the same software. Take the crow. A crow looking at you is running one of the most sophisticated facial recognition processes on the planet. Famous studies have shown that crows can distinguish individual human faces with startling precision. They don't just see a human, they see the human who wore that specific hat or walked that specific dog. They remember these faces for years, and they even teach their children which humans are good and which are bad. If a crow has decided you are safe, you are filed in a long-term database that will likely last the rest of that crow's life. A chickadee, on the other hand, works on a different kind of bird math. While they may not recognize your face with the same primate-like detail as a crow, they are masters of behavioral and spatial memory. A chickadee sees your pattern. It knows the time you usually come out. It knows the sound of your door. It recognizes the specific way you move through the garden. When a chickadee looks at you, it's comparing your current frame rate and ultraviolet glow to every other interaction it has ever had with you. It's an ongoing, real-time calculation of safety. This brings us to the most personal part of all. The bird at your feeder, the specific one that comes back day after day, has spent months, maybe years, collecting data on you. Every time you appeared, it added a data point. Every time you stayed still, it updated its threat assessment. Every time you brought out fresh seed, it recorded the consistency of your care. What that bird has concluded about you is the result of hundreds of individual observations. If that bird stays on the branch when you walk outside, it has made a conscious decision. It has looked at a creature that should be its greatest nightmare and decided, this one is safe. We spend so much time wondering if we mean anything to nature. We wonder if the animals like us or if they're just using us for food. The scientific truth is that while they may not feel love in the way humans do, they feel something just as profound: recognition. You are not background noise to them. You are not just a generic human shape. You are a known individual with a history, a classification, and a place in the mental map of their daily life. You have never been introduced, and you have never exchanged a word, and yet a wild creature that weighs less than a handful of coins has watched you carefully enough to know you from a stranger. In a world that is trying to kill them every single day, choosing to see you as safe is not a small thing. It is one of the most remarkable things quietly happening in your yard every morning. You are being seen, truly seen, in ways you can't even imagine. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had a moment of eye contact with a bird that stopped you? A moment where you felt like the bird was actually studying you back? I want to hear those stories. I read every single one. Thanks for watching Feathrix. I'll see you in the next one.